Because the fruit of the Spirit, when we embody it, that is fulfillment. Self-love is accepting God's love for you. But when we are choosing emotional health and physical health, that mental health is it's an automatic. We're taking back what the enemy has stolen from us. I'm choosing a happy new man. Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of The Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment. So today we are going to the enemy's camp, okay? So y'all know the song, the old school song, right? I went to the enemy's camp and I took back what he stole from me. And that is what we are doing today. And so in episode 2, we were talking about knowing your worth, like standing bold and strong and courageous in who you are. Now it's time to take inventory over your life so that we can see what has been going on within our life that has been robbing us of our fulfillment. Remember, with Dreamers Worldwide, our goal is to help you to couple success with fulfillment so that we can make the two one. As we are going out and striving to achieve incredible goals, we want to make sure that we can enjoy all of the fruit of our hard work, as well as enjoying the journey along the way to the best that we can. And so I'm going to read to you Judges 7, 9 through 15. And to kind of set the scene a little bit, this is about Gideon and his 300 men. Now, he started out with thousands, but God had him to cut it down to 300 so that nobody could take ownership or can say that it was them. Like, this was nobody but God that led them to this victory against the Midianites. And so, naturally speaking, which would be any of us when we are striving to go to the enemy's camp and take back what he stole from us, and that is taking back our peace, our joy, taking back our finances, our relationships, our marriage, whatever it is that you're like, I'm not fulfilled here, like I'm missing out here, I feel robbed here, I want to grow here, I want to experience new things here. Naturally speaking, because we're going to get so outside of our comfort zone in a uncertain season, we feel fear. And so this is Gideon here. And this is what God told Gideon. And so I'm going to go ahead and read again. It's Judges chapter 7 verses, I believe I'm going to go through 9 to 15. And if you want to grab your Bible, go ahead and grab it with me so that we can read. I always like to call the Bible a love story, so we can read another love story. All right, this is the NIV version as well. So I'm starting at verse 9. During that night, the Lord said to Gideon, "Get up, go down against the camp, because I am going to give it into your hands. If you are afraid to attack, go down to the camp with your servant Purah and listen to what they are saying. Afterwards, you will be encouraged to attack the camp." So he and Purah, his servant, went down to the outposts of the camp. The Midianites, the Amalekites, and all the other eastern peoples had settled in the valley, thick as locusts. Their camels could no more be counted than the sand of the seashore. Gideon arrived just as a man was telling a friend his dream. "I had a dream," he was saying. "A round loaf of barley bread came tumbling into the Midianite camp. It struck the tent with such force that the tent overturned and collapsed." His friend responded, "This can't be nothing other than the sword of Gideon, son of Joash, the Israelite. God has given the Midianites and the whole camp into his hands. Verse 15. When Gideon heard the dream and its interpretation, he bowed down and worshiped. He returned to the camp of Israel and called out, "Get up! The Lord has given the Midianite camp into your hands." All right. And that is the same thing that God is telling us when he is saying it's time to take your peace back. It's time to take your joy back. It's time to take your fulfillment back. It's time to take your marriage back. It's time to take your children back. It's time to take your finances back. It's time to take whatever it is that you are desiring in your heart. It's time to take it back. It's time to stand firm in who you are, knowing that just like God did with Gideon, he is also doing for you, that God will deliver the enemy into your hand and make all of your troubles and your worries your footstool. But in order to be a good co-worker with God, in that we have to take inventory over our life. And we first should start with our fruit. Galatians 5:22 through 23. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control. Are you feeling like you are lacking peace? Are you feeling like you are lacking joy? Are you feeling like you are lacking love in your life? And we know this through those feelings of loneliness, the insecurities, the self-doubts, and being easily frustrated, the depression, even being functionally depressed. You know, a lot of times we get to a point because we know how to move in our funk that we have normalized depression. And at the end of the day, that can still be what it is. We also know in how we are feeling when we are going to sleep at night. You know, are you going to sleep drained and depleted, or are you going to sleep intentionally with, you know, being ready for a happy new day? And so this is where we start to take inventory of what is going on with our fruit. Has the enemy been robbing us of our fruit? Because the fruit of the Spirit, when we embody it, that is fulfillment. That is the fulfillment. The success are the practical things, like, you know, hitting your financial goals, hitting your business goals, you know, hitting, you know, your relationship goals, whatever that is. But fulfillment, that lies in the fruit. That lies in your love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control. Another way that you would know that your fruit is being robbed, specifically self-control, is if you are constantly reacting versus responding. That is when your emotions is taking over and logic and wisdom has went out the window. It's when you cannot control yourself, because you know that if you say this thing, if you clap back, if you expose this person in this type of way, if you come at this situation with a negative type of mindset, then it most likely will not turn out good for you or anyone involved, especially not the situation or circumstance itself. Then you've lost control. And so what we want to do is take back our fruit. And we do that through examining each area of our life. I call it the success wheel of life. There are 5 core S's that we focus on: self-love, self-care, strength, surroundings, and support. And so we'll first start with self-love. Self-love is accepting God's love for you. I know a lot of times we mix up self-love with self-care. And even though they are both very important, that's why it is part of our success wheel of life. they are also very different. Self-love, again, is accepting God's love for you. Matthew 6:33 says to seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness, and all other things will be added to us as well. Now, the Bible also tells us that love is God and God is love. And so, if we are to say, seek first love's kingdom and love's righteousness, and then all other things will be added to us as well, then how can we not be built up in self-love? Self-love is choosing to give God your very first hour, or however much time that you need in order to be built up and ready for a happy new day. That is the part that I think that we forget because of the demands of our day. And I get it. Like at one point for me, it was 5 minutes, a 5-minute prayer, or 15 minutes reading the Bible. And then at one point I got very structured where I was like, okay, 10 minutes reading the Bible, 10 minutes prayer, 10 minutes journaling, and whatever like that. And, for many of us that might work, being that structured. But for me, I knew that I had to do what was best for me receiving the fruit and the love and the guidance and the instruction that God wanted to give me in my happy new day. And this makes the biggest difference. That's the reason why, for one, Matthew 6:33 says what it says, but also why we a lot of times are not, really being able to show up the way that we want to in each day, because we're robbing ourselves of being built up and filled up. Just think about whatever you went through the day before. Like when you went to sleep, yes, hopefully you got a good night's sleep. But when you woke up in the morning, it didn't change what happened yesterday. And so you might have to really spend that time with God, that intentional quality time with God, so that he can help you to forgive, to heal, to move on, to, be restored, to be replenished, and to have wisdom and strategy for the day. One thing I always recommend is asking God, like, what do you want to be done in this day? How do you want me to show up for this day? What do you want me to do to be in your will for this day? Like, doing these things help us so much with being strong in who we are and making the best of our happy new day. The purpose of every day is to make our happy new day better than the day before. And the reason why I know this is because every day we are increasing, we are growing. Today, you are older than you were yesterday. And God willing, tomorrow, when you wake up, you'll be a day older than today. This is by God's design. We also know this from Genesis when he told us to increase and multiply and fill the earth. Everything about God, about life itself, is about growth. And so when we choose to give God our first hour or more, like you might need more time, and that is okay. I am telling you that when you give yourself, it's not about 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, like the structure of it. It is about you receiving what it is that you need so that you can be great in your happy new day, so that you can be willing to right your wrong, so that you can be willing to pick back up where you left off at, so that you can be willing to have the conversations, so that you can be willing to take the uncomfortable step, right? And so with self-love and how important it is, we have to take back the importance of it. And what the enemy does a lot of time is, for one, he would make us believe that self-care is self-love when it isn't. And we're going to talk about self-care in a minute. But he'll make us think that self-care is self-love and it isn't. And so even though we are doing the activities of self-care, we are still not filled. We are still like going through the emotions that we were going through before, because we were not built up, because we did not spend that time with God and allow God to do what only he can do, which is renew our minds, heal our hearts, cleanse our hearts, restore us and fill us up with his fruit. So that is one way. Another way is through responsibilities. And again, the demands that we were talking about. He will use all of the different stuff that we have to do in every day to make us feel like we do not have time for God. He will distract us so much that he will make us feel like we don't have time for God. Or then you have social media, where there are so many different idols that are idolized and making us believe that that is okay to go to instead of God. And so we have to go to the enemy's camp and take back the importance of self-love, true self-love, which is accepting God's love for us. We have to want that in our heart again. We have to believe that that is the most important thing in the world again. That's how, for self-love, we take back what the enemy has stolen from us. Now, self-care. Self-care opens us up to receiving self-love, but it's not self-love, right? Now, self-care is the vacations, it's the massages, it's the, taking a nap, it is the walk in the park, it is the keeping your hair done, your nails done, looking good, feeling good. That's what self-care is. Self-care is all those things that make you feel good about yourself. And so that is the reason why the enemy can use that to scheme against us and rob us of being able to seek after self-love, because self-care does make us feel good, right? But self-care is actually meant to open us up to receiving self-love, because just think about when you are in a funk, when things are just going like array and you're frustrated, or you're in the busiest season of your life, you feel like you don't really have time for God. Or if you're going to God because you're in a depressed state, you're in a worry state, in an anxious state or whatever, then is a pleading to God, which again, is nothing wrong with that, but we are not receiving his strategy in that. We're just in our sadness of crying out to God. But with crying out to God, we also need to get to a space. That's why God tells us to come to him with thanksgiving. Like, with us coming to him with thanksgiving, that means that we have already made up our mind that even though we might feel like all hell is breaking loose, or we might feel like we're in a hole, or wherever you might feel like you're in your hardship, that you can find the good in it. And that good you can be thankful for. Because I'm telling you, when you can see the good in any situation or circumstance, no matter how bad it is, then that means that you can see God in it, so that you can see that he is still working for your good, that it is true that he has not left you nor forsaken you. And so when you can come to him like that, even with your tears and your sadness and crying out to him, because you know that he hasn't abandoned you, because you know that he is still with you, because you know that in the midst of all of it, he is still good, you're going to hear from him about how you can be a great co-worker with him in turning this thing around. And because you know that he is good, you will be willing to obey. And so that is why the enemy try to use self-care as a weapon against you, when it is a beautiful thing that makes you feel great about yourself, so that you can be open to not only going to God as your Father, as your friend, as your Lord and Savior, as your Lord of hosts, but you're also willing to receive the strategy that he has given you, receive the encouragement that he has given you, receive the pouring that he has given you, so that you can be in overflow, and everything and everyone, like all of your responsibilities, your ambitions, your goals, your desires, all those things can be in the salsa plate. But with self-care, we need it, right? Because we need to feel good about ourselves. We need to, we need that strength and that confidence in ourselves. And so make sure that whatever is the most important to you that builds up your confidence, you're not neglecting it. You're not allowing yourself to say, I'm too busy for it. I don't have enough time for it, or I don't have the resources for it. I'm telling you, the things that cost, you can be creative enough to find ways of how to do it for free until your finances increase to the point where you can have the experience and the abundance way that you want it. But do not neglect it. We need self-care. So if getting your hair and nails done is important to you, choose to do that. If going on a vacation at least once a year is important to you, make sure that you do that. If going for walks at least once a week or a couple of times a week is important to you because you like to be out in nature, that's one of my self-care things that I have to do at least 2 times a week. Then do it and make it a non-negotiable. That is how you are taking back what the enemy has stolen from you, by choosing to do what is important to you in self-care so that you can have your confidence and make room for you to not only go to God in self-love, but receiving everything that he wants to give you so that you can get into that overflow state where everything and everyone else is basking in your overflow. And then you have strength. Strength is your physical, mental, and emotional health. Way too often, we are not giving our emotions a voice, and we have to stop doing that. I know so many women, and I've helped so many women through the fear of their emotions. They are afraid of allowing their anger to be exposed. They are fearful of allowing their sadness to be seen. And I get it, because at one point you lack the self-control. But that's not the case anymore. We're taking back what the enemy has stolen from us. And so with that, you can give your emotions a voice without you allowing them to want to run wild and determine your actions. I'll say that again. You can give your emotions a voice without allowing them to run wild and make decisions for you. That is very important. And so we do that through, let's say that you're in a situation and somebody has said something that pissed you off. I mean, you feel like they pulled your card in that moment, and your flesh want to, in every word and in every action, let it be clear and known, do not come for me. This is not what you want. But instead, in that moment, you can literally be silent, breathe, and pray about it. And it doesn't matter what they think while you're in their face. It doesn't matter, because you're not going to give them the satisfaction of making their negativity make you negative as well. You're not going to allow them to have the satisfaction of you stooping to their level. You can, depending on the situation or circumstance, can choose to walk away, You can choose to respond in a way and saying, you know what, I'm going to have to come back to you on this. Or you can give grace to the situation and love them out of their negative space, whichever one works better. And then when you get to your time, maybe it's when you get in your car or when you get home, or even at night when you are, like choosing to journal, release, and let it go. That's when you give your voice, your emotions, a louder voice where you are really able to express yourself. And so in this situation, you did not neglect your emotions. You stopped, you breathed through it, you did a quick prayer, and then you responded in the way that was most appropriate. And then you allowed your emotions to be loud when you chose to either do it at night when you got to the car, or maybe went to the bathroom, whenever you can have time to yourself and you can really express yourself without judgment, you and God, and allowing him to restore you and build you back up, or bring you back to a space where your self-control is rooted in you, right? And so with our emotional health, we have to stop being afraid of our emotions. That's how we're taking back what the enemy has stolen from us, by choosing to stop being afraid of our emotions and giving our emotions a voice in a very healthy way. Physical health, that is your body keeping up with your purpose. Way too often we are saying what we don't have time for, or we are allowing our taste buds to be our God. And that's how the enemy is scheming against us. He is scheming a bit against us again with our responsibilities and the things that we have to do in order to make life work. And then also with our taste bugs, like with what we have been trained up to want and desire for food. And so we have to unlearn this, and this takes training. Now, this is something that literally, because everything in life is habitual, right? And so we have to get into training mode where we are intentionally every single day choosing to do the opposite of what we would do. And so, like, for example, if you are making up your mind to go to the gym about 3 times a week for an hour each day for those 3 days, and habitually speaking, as soon as it's time to go to the gym, you find a reason why not to. And so you obey. And the more you do that, the more you get comfortable in your excuses. But with taking back what the enemy has stolen from you, you are choosing to do the exact opposite. When you made up your mind on Monday to go to the gym, when Monday comes, you are going to the gym. And yes, you might end up having to sacrifice an hour of work, or an hour of TikTok, or an hour, whatever it is that you usually do within that time. Yes, there is a consequence to that, because you have a normality that you are shaking up. But when you choose to do it, and you do it consistently every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, because those are the 3 days that you might have chose to go to the gym, then going to the gym because you said that you will become your norm. That's the part of the physical health that we have to become accustomed to, is unlearning and relearning what is healthy and that is good for us. When it comes to our taste buds, something that I highly recommend is drinking a ton of water. Like, water helps you with those taste buds not being as strong. And so when you have a taste for something, choose to drink water instead. I'm telling you, like, your taste for it is not going to be as strong. It'll still be there, but it won't be as strong. And now the opportunity that you have is to make a different choice. And so you might have wanted a cheeseburger, but because you drank water first, now that desire is not there as strong, And so as long as you have a salad in the refrigerator with you, you can go ahead and grab the salad instead, and you will be more intentional about eating that salad because your desire, your taste bug for the cheeseburger is not as strong. And then again, you go into training mode with this. You continue to make the better decision until you naturally choose to do so. Like when I made up my mind to stop drinking pop, because I don't drink pop, and I used to love pop, you guys. Like I used to love it so much. Now, for me, the reason why I stopped drinking it, pop and juice, I don't drink a lot of juice at all. And so the reason why for me was because of my face was breaking out a lot. Like I had bumps for days, to be honest. And so I knew that that acid and all of the sugar and stuff from the juice and the pop was doing it for me. And so it was very hard, but I was doing what it is and I'm sharing with you now. And now I predominantly drink water. Like that's kind of what I just go to. And every now and again, maybe like once every couple months or so, I'll have some juice because I just got taste for it. But I'm not addicted to it. Like it's not a part of my natural way of living. And so after I have it and I'm done with it, then I don't want it anymore until probably another 2 or 3 months. Right? And so that is how we can take back what the enemy has stolen from us. Prayer 100%, like, because food can be an idol. So definitely unlearning that with, with your self-love time and your self-care time things, right? But then we have to get extremely practical here and train ourselves to love what is better and what is good for us. And then that emotional health and that physical health automatically helps with the mental health. It automatically puts us in a better mood because we are emotionally free. And with us being physically healthy, it frees our mind to be more creative and more adventurous in like how you want to bring about the good that you want to experience in your life, as well as educational things. Always be a student, always be learning. Our minds is wired to learn. That's why, again, going back to Genesis, he told us to increase and multiply. In order to do that, we have to continue to learn and grow and develop. Our mind is always wanting ways for us to learn something new. But when we are choosing emotional health and physical health, that mental health, it's an automatic. And that is our strength with surroundings. That is your relationships. So your close relationships as well as your encounters. But it is also your home, your environment, your possessions, the things that you are responsible for. That's your surroundings. And when we are choosing to take back what the enemy has stolen from us, here is when we are honoring our season and our capacity. We need to be very intentional about who we are allowing in our core community. Now, we can have all type of different friends for different reasons. We can have associates. We can have people that we hang out with, have a great time with, backyard party with, kick it with, all those other different things, right? That is totally awesome, fine, and okay. But your core, though, your core community, these are the people that you are going to as your confidant, that you are trusting with the issues that you're dealing with to help you through them and navigate through them and to rise above them or to overcome them. These are the people that is advocating for the best version of you. They are advocating for your greatness. They are advocating for your next level. These are the people that are resource providers for you, that are cheerleaders for you, that is really advocating for you. And they are allowing you to be that to them as well. Your core community, that is very important when it comes to surroundings, because these are the people who has influence over the decisions that you are making. And you want these people in your life. In the beginning, we talked about this in episode 2, that God told Adam, which represents mankind, which is you and I, which is all of us. He said, it is not good for mankind to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Like Eve, woman, we represent the helpers that we need in our life that is right and appropriate for us in our current season, and that will help us with our current circumstances. And so it is important for us to take over inventory over who are you allowing to be part of your core community right now. There might be some people that you need to take out of your core community. That does not mean that you're taking them out of your life. They just cannot have access to your core right now because you need builders in that area. You need people who are, again, going to be advocating for the best version of you. This might also mean that you have to bring new people into your core community. This is why networking is so important, because it gives you an opportunity to build up your support system. You know, again, the people that are advocating for the best version of you, your resource providers, people that are going to help you to reach your next level. And so when it comes to surroundings, like your core community is what's the most important. Other people in your life, that is awesome, that is great, but they are not really influencing your decisions unless you are choosing to allow them to. But with your core community, that's their purpose. Their purpose is to help you make better decisions. And then with surroundings, it is your home environment and the things that you are responsible for. So like your car, your workspace, all those things. A lot of times the reason why we have a scattered brain, or we feel like it's very clogged up and, you know, we have so much going on mentally, is because of the environment around us. Like, I know a lot of women that I have helped over the years, and what they have said a lot is that when their home is clean, they feel better. And when their home is cluttered and they have all type of stuff going on in their home, then that's also when they feel cluttered minded and they feel like they just have too much going on in other areas of their life. And so when their environment around them is clean and is welcoming, they feel mentally, emotionally, spiritually more welcome to receiving the good things that God wants them to receive. And I know how that feels as well, and that could be many of us. That's why our environment, like what is surrounding us, is so important. And so to the extent that you can, we want to keep it clean and welcoming so that can add to us wanting to be open and welcome to all of the good things that God wants from us. I'm telling you, the enemy uses any little thing to throw us off and to separate us from our good things, and ultimately separate us from our relationship with God, or choosing to seek God out. And then finally, our support. That's our finances. And the enemy uses so many tactics here to rob us of our good things, to keep success and fulfillment separate, where we are achieving great financial goals, but yet we're still feeling depleted, drained, depressed, overwhelmed, anxious, and using different substances to make ourselves feel better or to replace fulfillment, when all it is doing is bringing about a level of falsehood that God tells us to never live in, right? And so when it comes to our support is our finances, how we're bringing in income and how we are making a financial contribution to the world. When it comes to that, what is the most important is to remember that you can love what you do and you can be generous at giving so that other people can be able to do the things that they love to do as well. So when it comes to loving what you do, I get it that we got to make sure that food is on the table, a roof is over our head, clothes is on our back, our children are fed, that we can go out at least once a month to enjoy ourselves. Like, I get it. I totally understand that. But God gets that too. And God is an abundant God. The Bible says that God goes exceedingly abundantly and beyond what we could ever think or imagine. The Bible tells us that God wants to give us the desires of our heart for those who delight in Him. So, just like you understand that you have basic needs that needs to be met, so does God. And with love being God and God being love, that means that He will give you opportunities where you can profit off of doing the things that you love to do. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, well, shoot, that means I need to quit my job today and go and find what it is I love to do. No, you can bring love inside of what you're doing right now. You can bring peace inside of what you are doing right now. Now, I quit my job twice. Okay, I have been an entrepreneur since June of 2015. I've worked corporate America before then. And so I quit twice. Once before I should have, and then the second time it was time to go. And then the first time when I quit before I should have, I did not allow myself to bring love into my career. I did not allow myself to bring peace inside of my career. I was just so focused on what I didn't like about it, about how it was blocking me from being able to run my business, to write my book, to help other people. And how even though I was making a nice amount, I was tricking myself into believing it wasn't enough. Financially, it was not giving me, I was just focused on so much of the wrong things that I was not looking at how God was in the midst, bringing about so much good through it. How there were people there that I didn't have to necessarily make friends with them, but I can enjoy them while I'm at work. How I could have been so much more creative at using my skill sets at work. How I could have been looking at my job as a learning opportunity where I am learning new skill sets and leadership and project management and taking inventory and logistics and all these other different things that is needed in order to be a successful business owner. I wasn't focusing on none of that because I was so into all the things that I hated about it. And so when we let go of what we don't like and we choose to focus on what is healthy and what is good and the benefits that we are receiving from our job, that's bringing love inside it, because wherever good is, God is there also, because God is the only source of good that there is. And so the first time that I quit my job, I could have brought it in, and I understand that now. And so I'm able to help other women to be able to understand how they can do that as well. Then the second time when I quit, it was actually time for me to go. And I knew that because I felt completed there. I felt like there was nothing else for me to do there. I felt like there was no other way for me to grow there. And as I was striving to bring the good in and all of that stuff, like it wasn't bearing any fruit. And so then, and this is spiritually and emotionally speaking, I knew that it was time for me to go. Now, on the practical end, when you are choosing to leave your job, it is important for you to make sure that financially speaking, it makes sense, that with your family dynamic, it makes sense, all of those different things. But when you know in your heart that it is time to go, right? When you know in your heart that it is time to go, and you are not dwelling on what's going wrong, it's just you are complete here. You've done what you're supposed to do here, and now it's time to go, right? That's when God is letting you know He is about to take you to a new season. He is about to take you to a new level. He is about to open up some new doors for you. And that is exactly what happened for me with it was Boss at the time, Beauty's on Successful Strides, where my events started to explode. I was selling out on events and all of these different things that was happening with Dreamers Worldwide, as well as coaching clients and all those other different things too, right? And He'd do the same for you as well. But what is important here is that you can love what you do. You can love what you do. When you love what you do, the enemy can't mess with you. He cannot mess with you. He can't mess with your finances, because you're going to want to grow it. You're going to want to become more skilled. You're going to want to share your products and services with more people. You're going to want to help more people through your contribution. You're going to want to add value to the company. You're going to want to get the promotion and reach the next level within your career, because love is there. Love is growth. Love is increase. Love is multiplication. And so when you put love inside of what it is that you do, the enemy don't have a shot at you. And it's also because love is God. God is love. So when you are allowing God to operate fully in your finances, the enemy can't touch you. He can't touch you. You have taken back your income. You have taken back your finances. You have taken back packaging your products and services in a way that is going to be appealing and pleasing to other people to promote increase, expansion, and multiplication. And then there's the other side of support, which is your contribution. We learned in episode 2 that we as women, naturally speaking, we are helpers. It is in our nature to want to be givers, to want to contribute, to want to help make other people's lives better. And we do that through being a generous giver, because when God knows that your heart is generous to give into others, that means that He can trust you with more. He can trust you with abundance. He can trust you with continuing to increase what you have, because He knows that you're going to go out and be a blessing to other people. And that will not rob you of what you keep aside for yourself. Like, that's the reason why we do not want to be generous, is because we are so afraid that if we give to others, that it's going to rob us of what we can have for ourselves. And that's just not the case. That is just not true. You can give to others. And because you are being a generous giver, God is going to generously bless you as well, because He can trust you. He can trust you with the success, the prosperity that He is choosing to give to you, because He knows that you're going to go out and make a great difference in your world and in the world around you. And so when we are choosing to go to the enemy's camp and take back what he's stolen from us, we are taking inventory over every area of our life. And just like God did for Gideon, when he showed Gideon, like, look, this is what the enemy really thinks about you. The enemy is actually afraid of you. And I am going to deliver the enemy into your hands. I am going to make the schemes and the weapons of the enemy your footstool. Just like He did it for Gideon, He is doing that for you. So you do not have to be afraid to go deep. You do not have to be afraid to expose the different areas in your life that needs your attention, that needs for you to cater to those areas so that you can increase, so that you can be built up, so that you can experience more fulfillment. Because success without fulfillment, that is the ultimate failure. We are not choosing that anymore. We are choosing to partner, to couple, to create a marriage, a unity between success and fulfillment, making the two one. And so I am praying that this episode is good to you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share. Please subscribe to our channel if you have not already done it. Help me help the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment reach the nations, because what we are sharing here is important for a time such as this. I'll see you in the next episode. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. I celebrate you, and I lift you up as I climb. Mwah. Bye.